Hello my book besties, welcome to my channel, and today I am doing a very daunting video. It's all the books on my bookshelf that I haven't read, and I know it's going to be a lot, and I do not look forward to counting them all at the end and having a total, because I think it's going to be a very scary number. But it's definitely one that I'm working on. My goal for this year is to start chipping away at this immense pile of books. So yeah, I don't know how long this is going to take me to film. I'm sorry if it's awkward and all over the place and moving and stuff like that. I don't have a great way of filming this, but I want to do it purely just to see how many books are on my shelves that I haven't read. So let's get into it and start over in the far top corner that's like way up there. Okay, editing self jumping in here. I just want to apologize. I'm still getting over a cold, and as I'm editing this I can really hear how bad my enunciations and everything get because I'm still a bit congested and everything. So as we go through the bookshelves, it just slowly gets worse and worse. And as I said, my phonics is already not great. So my pronunciations of people's names and surnames and everything, I'm so sorry that I've butchered so many of them. I do not mean any malice by it. It's just, I struggle a lot with the pronunciation of words. So forgive me for that. Also sorry for the shaking. It was a lot, but I got through it. I think I'm going to try and do one of these every year just to hopefully see the piles go down. But stay tuned. S by J.J. Abrams. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Watership Down by Richard Adams. The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi. The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Adair. The Rose and the Dagger by Rose Adair. P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. The Year That I Met You by Cecilia Ahern. Freckles by Cecilia Ahern. In a Thousand Different Ways by Cecilia Ahern. Let's Get Lost by Adi Al-Said. Because You Love to Hate Me, a compilation of many authors but put together and edited by Mary. Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. Me, Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The Problem with Forever by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And Cursed by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Hook, Line and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. Grace and Fury by Tracy Banghart. Of Poseidon by Anna Banks. Wonder Woman by Leigh Bardugo. Girl Serpent Thorn by Melissa Bashhardaus. Heart of Thorns by Brie Barton. Begin and Begin, a Love Oz was YA anthology, edited by Danielle Brinks. Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. In the Midnight Garden of Good and Evil by John Rendent. White Cat by Holly Blake. The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. Noble Conflict by Mallory Blackman. Frostblood and Fireblood by Ellie Blake. Anna Dressed in Blood and Girl of Nightmares by Kendare Blake. Januaries by Olivia Blake. In the Darkest Minds series by Alexandra Bracken. The Passenger series by Alexandra Bracken. A Dreadful Tale of Prosper Reading by Alexandra Bracken. And Law by Alexandra Bracken. A Great and Terrible Beauty, Rebel Bells, A Sweet Fair Thing, and The Diviners, all by Libba Bray. Long Live Evil by Sarah Reese Brennan. The Beholder by... ooh, I can't remember. Oh, that's not a good idea. By Anna Bright. Six Scorched Roses and The Ashes and the Star-Crossed Cursed King by Chris Broadbent. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Deception Point by Dan Brown. Digital Fortress by Dan Brown. If on a Winter's Night a Traveller by Italo Calvino. Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops. More Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops and The Bookshop Book, all by Jen Campbell. The Great War by Les Carlton. The Parasol Protectorate series and The Finishing School series by Gail Carriger. Goddess Test, The Goddess Inheritance, The Goddess Legacy, and The Goddess Interrupted by Amy Carter. The Gallagher Girls series, I've read the first one. I haven't read the other 5. I have gotten to... I think I've read up until Tempted of the House of Night series, so I haven't read Burned, Awakened, Hidden, Redeemed, or the novellas. There's a Fledgling Handbook and the Nyx of the House of Night as well from that series. And then F. May's Choice by PC Cast, Darkness Divine by PC Cast, Goddess of Legend and Goddess of the Rose by PC Cast. Oh, these are sitting out of order. The Last of August by Brittany Cavallaro, as well as The Case for Jamie, and then Muse, all by Brittany Cavallaro. School for Good and Evil, books 1, 2, and 3. The Porcelain Moon by Jeannie Chang. Wild Swans by Jung Chung. Shiny Broken Pieces by, what's the first author's name? Sonia Carapocha and Danielle Clayton. Sorry. The Seven Realms novels, so The Demon King, Exiled Queen, The Grey Wolf Throne, and The Crimson Crown, all by Cinder Williams Chimer, as well as The Warrior Heir and The Enchanted Heir. I'm pretty sure there's 2 more in that series, but I don't have them. I haven't read these 2, so, you know. Wicked Fox by Kat Cow. The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Choshki. I'm pronouncing these names so badly, I'm so sorry. Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo. Hey You in the Black T-Shirt by Michael Chung. Bone Witch and Wicked As You Wish by Rin Pecco. Sorry. Okay, onto a blasphemy shelf, but I haven't read City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, City of Heavenly Fire, Clockwork Prince, Clockwork Princess, The Bane Chronicles, The Shadowhunters Academy, the Illustrated History of Noble Shadow Hunters and Denizens of the Downworld, and the Shadow Hunters Codex, all by Cassandra Clare. I plan on fixing that problem this year. Then we've got The Bells by Donielle Clayton, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, Patience by, I don't know, someone Clouds, House of Dragons by Jessica Clues, Seeds of Earth by Michael Colby, My Fine Fellow by someone Cohen, by Jenny Kit Cohen. I don't know how you actually pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Oh, tipping you down, sorry. And then Christmas Island Hotel by Jenny Colgan. Another Blasphemy Shelf. Sunrise by the Sea by Jenny Colgan. And then The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, or Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. Haven't read The Stripper Next Door by Emily Corbett. I keep meaning to because I do know her. The House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. That's still in its packaging for some reason. Moonrise by Sarah Crossand. The Murder Complex and Death Code by Lindsay Cummings. Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. Mirage by Sommier Dodd. Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Delara. Wildfire by Nelson DeMille. Truth Witch and Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. Something Strange and Deadly, A Darkest Strange and Lovely and Strange and Ever After by Susan Dennard. The Pickwick Papers, Nicholas Nickleby, Martin Chuizlwick, and David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Oh, sorry if I'm moving around too much. Okay, finally I can actually just stand and not have to be on a ladder. So, I also have Bleak House, Hard Times, Our Mutual Friend, and A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. 5 Steps to Happiness or to Happy by Ella Dove. Day 7 by Kerry Drury. The Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. Fire and Heist by Sarah Beth Durst. The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. Bloodlust and Initiation by Alex Duval. What is this? Christine of the Fourth by W.E. Eastway. Freshers by Tom Allen and Lucy Ivinso. I don't know. Winterwood by is it Shay? Yeah, Shay Ershaw. We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Fazil. I'm so sorry. I'm very bad with phonics at the best of times. Not that that's an excuse, but yeah. I really struggle. Okay, The Stubborn Seed of Hope by Brian Faulkner. Her Heart for a Compass? Yeah, For a Compass by Sarah Ferguson. The Narrow Road to the Deep North by Richard Flanagan. Shielded by Kaylin Flanders. Gone Girl, Sharp Objects and Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. Daughter of the Burning City and Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. This is, oh, what's this called? Octunimal or something? It's that weird book that I'm just keeping it in the box just so that it stays together. I don't know. Okay, sorry, moving on. Just One Day, Just One Year, If I Say, Where She Went, I Was Here, all by Gail Forman. The Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna. A Passage to India by E.M. Forrester. The Lost Souls of Atlantis. The Lost Souls of Atlas by Zana Fralilin. Oh, sorry. Endgame: The Calling by James Frey. Oh, I'm getting tired. Inkheart by Cornelia Funk. Dare to be Dirty and Bound to be Dirty by Savannah Fox. Outlined, A Trial of Fire, Written in Our Own Heart's Blood, The Scottish Prisoner, and An Echo in the Bone by Diana Gabaldon. American Gods by Neil Gaiman, Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. Caraval, Legendary and Finale, by Stephanie Garber. It annoys me to no end that these do not match, and if I do like the series, I will get a matching set with Spectacular as well. Beautiful Creatures, Beautiful Darkness, Beautiful Chaos, and Beautiful Redemption by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. Queen Bee by Sierra Garati. Ruby Red by Kristen Gear. The Age of Everything and the Brink of Darkness by Jeff Giles. Rises the Night and the Bleeding Dusk by Colleen Gleeson. These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Eon by Alison Goodman. They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman. Pride, Prejudice and Zombies, and this is, who did it? Seth Graham Smith. 36 Questions That Changed My Mind About You by Vicky Grant. 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray and Spellcaster. Is that by Claudia Gray? Yep, by Claudia Gray. Then Looking for Alaska, An Abundance of Catherines, Will Grayson and Paper Towns by John Green. Will Grayson's also by David Leviathan. Half Bad and Half Wild by Sally Green. And Snow Falling on the Cedars by David Guttison. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, Squirrel Meets World by Shannon Hale and Dean Hale. Guilty Pleasures and the Laughing Corpse by Laurel K. Hamilton. The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Hang. My Plain Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brodie Ashton and Jodie Meadows. Thomas Hardy, The Tez of the, I don't know how to pronounce that. Eight Will Fall by Sarah Haran. Discovery of Witches and The Book of the Life by Deborah Harkness. The Dry by Jane Harper. Any of the True Blood books that I have them. Digging Up Dirt by Pamela Hart. Serafina by Rachel Hartman. And Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. Hex Hole, Demon Glass, Spellbound, and Rebel Bell, all by Rachel Hawkins. The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. What's this? A Wedding at the Beach Hut by Veronica Henry. Expectations of the Mountains of the Moon by Mark Hodder, as well as the Curious Case of the Clockwork Man. Cruel Beauty and Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, Evolution of Mara Dyer, and the Retribution of Mara Dyer, all by Michelle Hodkin, I think. Is it Michelle? Yes. Oh, look at me go. Viper by Bex Hogan. Ugly Love, Verity, and It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Stormbreaker by Anthony Horowitz, as well as The House of Silk. The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo, as well as Les Miserables. I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. The Couple at Table 6 by Daniel Hurst. Oh, here's another name I'm going to butcher. I'm so sorry. Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. I'm so sorry. 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. And then this is The Haunting of Hill House, and it's it uses Shelley Jackson's book in it, and I can't for the life of me remember what book that is. I don't know. Winter Song by S.J. Jones. Genius Squad by Catherine Jinks. And then The Reformed Vampire Support Group by Catherine Jinks. Okay. Name of the Star, The Madness Underneath, and The Shadow Cabinet, all by Maureen Johnson, as well as Chili Devious by Maureen Johnson. The Flip Side by Shauna Johnson. The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared by Jonason? I don't know. The Storm Crow by Kaylin Josephson. A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy. Dubliners by James Joyce. The Love Song of Miss Queenie Hennessy by Rachel Joyce. Iron Daughter, Iron Queen, and Iron Knight by Julie Kagawa, and Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. Any of the Fallen series by Lauren Kate, as well as The Orphan's Song by Lauren Kate. These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. Life in Outer Space and The Secret Science of Magic, all by Melissa Keel. The Wedding Party by Catherine Kelly. More Than We Can Tell and A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kimmer. Goldfinch by Raven Kennedy. Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. Branded by, who's this by? Abby Kettner and Missy Kalicki? I don't know, sorry. Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys and Andrew Winner. No. Scar Tissue by Anthony Kiedis. Bali 9 by Cindy Walker and Madonna King. I don't know why I've got that. The Hotel on the Riviera by Carol Kirkwood. Oh, we're getting there. We're about halfway. This is so depressing. Alright. Nevernight, God's Grave and Life Like by Jay Kristoff. Hex by Michelle Chris, as well as Dead Girl Society. The Tragedy Paper by Elizabeth Laban. We Are Okay by Nina LaCure as well as You Know Me Well by Nina LaCour and David Leviathan. I don't think I've read The Girl Who Played with Fire and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest by Carlson, so I would probably reread to get there. Beautiful Bastards by Christina Lauren. Forest of Souls by Laurie M. Lee. Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue and A Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee. Fury Born by Claire Legrand. The Shadows Between Us by Tricia Levenseller. Oh, okay. The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. Yeah, haven't got there yet. Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. Dexter Books by Jeff Lindsay. The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones. Dramarama by E. Lockhart. I don't know what these are. The Only Wicked With You by Julianne Long and The Wrong Marquess by Vivienne Lauret. I got some books in like a romance set and I really just need to do an unhaul, let's be honest. The Giver, Gathering Blue, Messenger and Son by Lois Lowry. The Young Elite series, the Legend series, and Batman by all by Marie Lu. Okay, another shelf that's going to cause some issues. I have only on this shelf read Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorn and Roses. I really need to fix that to finish off this. Plus, I'm also missing sets, so I need to get on that. The Shatter Me series by Tahira Murphy and Furthermore by Tahira Murphy. I have read Capturing the Devil by Kerry Maniscalco. Finnegan of the Rock by Melina Marchetta, as well as On Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta. Warm Bodies by Isaac Maron. Graveminder by Melissa Marr. Uninvited by Amanda Moreau. Tomorrow When the War Began, The Dead of Night by John Marsden, as well as While I Live and Circle of Flight by John Marsden. Song of the Dead by Sarah Glenn Marsh. Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. And then I've read the first two books in the Game of Thrones series, so I haven't read A Storm of Swords or Feast of Crows or A Dance with Dragons. Spring at Blueberry Bay by Holly Martin. And The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. It's Now or Never by Carol Matthews. The Cottage by the Sea by Carol Matthews. His Lessons on Love by Kathy Maxwell. Mad About You by Maureen McFarlane. The Towering Sky by Catherine McGee. The Expected One by Kathleen McGowan. The Vampire Academy series. I haven't read any of them. Before She Ignites by Jodie Meadows. Wise and Nerve by Marissa Meyer. I've only read the first book in the Twilight series. So, yeah. I haven't read New Moon, Eclipse or Breaking Dawn. I haven't read A Year of Reading Dangerously by Andy Miller. Or Circe by Madeline Miller. Or Where I Am Now by Keslovilovs. I don't know. Paradise Lost by John Milton. Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. Nocturna by Maya Motain. The Housewives by Brian Moyland. Crash Landing by Robert Muchamore. 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. Poems by Les Murray. The Knife of Never Letting Go, The Ask and the Answer, Monsters and Men, More Than This, A Monster's Calls, all by Patrick Ness. Girls of Paper and Fire and Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nay. All the Right Places by Jennifer Niven. The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. Strange Creatures by Phoebe North. Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. The Quick by Lauren Owen. The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. Stealing Snow by Danielle Page. Wonder by RJ Palicio. I'm so sorry. Aragon and Eldest by Christopher Paolini. One Last Secret by Adeline Parks. Crown of Feathers by Nikki Powell Prieto. The Affair by Gil Paul. Kiss of Deception, The Heart of Betrayal, and The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson. Mary? Yeah, Mary. Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. My True Love Gave to Me and Summer Days and Summer Nights edited by Stephanie Perkins. Picture Perfect, Change of Heart and The Perfect Match by Jodie Picoult. Okay, Tales of Mystery and Madness by Edgar Allan Poe and Grizz Grimley. Yes Please by Amy Poehler. Heartstream by Tom Pollock. Bone Cries Moon by Catherine Purdy. Not All Diamonds and Rosé by David Quinn. Snow Like Ashes and These Rebel Waves by Sarah Rash. And The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm finally down to some sitting shelves. Okay, this is my Matthew Riley section. I've only read Seven Ancient Wonders by Matthew Riley. And then I've got Anne Rice, which I haven't read any of those. And then I've got my Ransom Riggs, which I haven't read any of those. I haven't read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I have the first and the second one, and then I've got the graphic novel of the first one as well. I don't know why I don't have the rest of the series. My Rick Riordan shelf. I have only read The Lightning Thief. So Percy Jackson and The Lightning Thief. I haven't read any of the others. I keep meaning to, and I will get around to it, but I haven't as yet. Okay, I hope you will get this message by Farah Naz Rishi. Del Toro Quest 3 by Emily Rodder. Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I know I've got lots of doubles. This is why I used to get really frustrated back when I was getting both Fairy Loot and Owlcrate, because I would have the same books and it would annoy the crap out of me. So I have lots of doubles. The Divergent series by Victoria Roth. This is on my to read for this year because I never read it and I want to see what it was all about. Asylum and Sanctum by, is it Madeline? Madeline Rocks? Yeah. Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Zuri Zafron. Vampire Brat by Angie Sage. Septimus Heap Magic by Angie Sage. This Song Will Save Your Life by Layla Sales. The Final Empire, The Well of Ascension, The Hero of Ages, and Skyward, all by Brandon Sanderson. Four Dead Queens by Astrid Stolle. The Archived Vicious and Vengeful by V. Schwab or Victoria Schwab. The End of Your Life book club by Will Schwab. Who Done It by John Sieska. I don't know, sorry. Living Dead Girl by Elizabeth Scott. The Accidental Book Club by Jennifer Scott. Fire and Blood and Salt and Stone by Victoria Scott. Dirt Town by Hayley Chavanel. Castles in the Bone by Laura Sebastian. Amber and Dusk by Lyra Celine. Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepeti. The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, who is what I was trying to think of before. I think I've read Pretty Little Liars, but I wouldn't have read Flawless, Perfect or Unbelievable. So they're all by Sarah Shepherd. Or she might be Sarah Shepherd. I can't remember which way she pronounces it. Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. Unwind by Neil Shusterman. History's All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Skye, I think. Yeah. False Witness by Karen Slaughter. Oh, I totally missed the S there. By Karen Slaughter. Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. Oh, I need a... Witches Stepped in Gold by Synanon Smart. Dark Visions by LJ Smith. Bound by Judy by Stormy Smith. Really, really tight, sorry. All the Wrong Questions, Lemony Snicket. Hunted by Megan Spooner. A Tyranny of Petticoats by Jessica Spotswood. Toil and Trouble, edited by Jessica Spotswood and Tess Sharp. Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. Shiver, Linger and Forever by Maggie Stiefvater. Yes, I have 2 copies of it. The Memory of Light by Francisco X. Stork. Okay. Under My Hat, Tales from the Cauldron, edited by Jonathan Strahan. Ever the Hunted by, can't remember, Erin Summerhill. Four Aunties and a Wedding by Jessie Sorrento. Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. Air by Saba Tahir. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, and Dreams of God and Monsters by Laini Taylor. Star Daughter by, I've forgotten, Shavita Thakrar. Long May She Reign by Rhiannon Thomas. Blankets by Craig Thompson. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Immortal Beloved by Kate Tiernan. Echoes by Laura Tisdale. Leo Tolstoy's books. Nevermore and Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend. Wink Poppy Midnight by April Genevieve Tuchel? I don't know. The L, the K, I'm so sorry. The Witches of Eastwick by John Updike. Fairest of All by, what's her first name? Serena Valentino. Okay. Oh. Cry's War by Nina Variella. This entire video is just me mispronouncing people's names. I'm so sorry. This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria. Ballad for a Mad Girl by Vicky Wakefield. Timebound by Risa Walker. We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallach. The Crimson Crown by Heather Walter. The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. One of Us by Jeannie Waldbury. To the Best the Boys by Mary Weber. In Her Shoes by Jennifer Winier. Ugly Series by Scott Westerfield. Afterwards by Scott Westerfield. A Treason of Thorns by Laura Weymouth. Green Valentine by Lily Wilkinson. The Boundless Sublime by Lily Wilkinson. Defector by Suzanne Winokur. Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monster and Android Karina. They're mashups. No, I've read them. Bound by Prophecy by Melissa Wright. Everything, Everything and the Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. Fable by Adrienne Young. And Pride by, what's the first name? Ibi Zoboy. And then lastly, I haven't read Nana or The Earth by Emile Zola or The Book Thief and the Messenger by Marcus Zuzak. Okay, this is not a flattering angle at all for me, but oh my god, that took forever. That is so many books. I am actually mortified to edit and post this now because I did not realise how many books I haven't read, and majority of them I've owned for over like 10 years and still haven't read them. So I need to get my act in gear, get some of them read, and make the decision to get rid of the ones that I don't want to keep on my shelves anymore, because there are definitely ones that I'm like, why do I own this? I have no interest in reading this. But they're on my shelves just because I struggle to say goodbye to books. But anyway, I need to make room for new books because I'm almost out of space. Anyway, I'm going to put down here the total of how many books this came to of unread. It's a terrifying number. I don't even know what it is yet. I will have to work it out in post. But I feel that it's a terrifying number. And anyway, alright, that is it for this video. I need a coffee, I need some food, because that took forever to film. And I will see you all next time. Bye.